big day for sports talk radio. Big week, as a matter of fact, for sports talk radio in Dallas. Now, Fox Sports Radio affiliate, The Ticket, in Dallas, they don't need Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones to get all pissy about questions that are being asked. They go to a Hall of Famer, another Hall of Famer, in Troy Aikman. And so Troy Aikman appeared on The Ticket in Dallas yesterday and gave his assessment as to one thing that he sees as an issue with the Dallas Cowboys. It's something we haven't heard a lot of, but it's not Dak. Instead, it's the wide receivers.
But I think the routes are terrible. I think they run terrible routes, and I've thought that beyond this year. And I think CeeDee's got to improve in his route running. And as a quarterback, if you're not certain where guys are going to be consistently, it's hard to play the position. And so that's what I see. I see guys lazy coming off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they run. Usually if they do, it's because they're anticipating they're going to get the football in that play, but if they're not, they don't, and it all ties together. And so I'm not impressed with that part of it. I just finished watching the Baltimore Ravens because I have them this week. You put on a film of theirs and watch their receivers run routes, and they come off the football. And so do San Francisco's and Green Bay's and others. But it's hard to play the position if you're not certain how guys are going to run routes or where they're going to be. And I'm not speaking for Dak. Dak may say, hey, I think everything's amazing. But as a former quarterback watching it, it's got to get a lot better.
I mean.
Wow.
Open season, baby.
Wow.
By the way, I love the fact that it's their bye week, too. They're probably like, we could really get this bad taste out of our mouth. We just need to get back on track and get a big win. Nah, gonna let you think about it a little bit.
Yeah, but it gives them extra time to get healthy. They need that. They need their defense to be better. And clearly their receivers need to be better, including CeeDee Lamb. Dang. That's interesting that he would give a gut shot to CeeDee Lamb after there's been so much made about how frustrated it appears that CeeDee Lamb gets with Dak Prescott. And now it's kind of like you get a goat putting it in the perspective that he's putting it in, and he's holding those receivers, including CeeDee Lamb, accountable for the woes of this offense.
You know what? This is what I love the most about doing shows and getting to have conversations with guys like you and Brady who actually know what the hell's going on from a scheme standpoint or a play standpoint. Because we can all stand on the outside, and people in sports media, they hate this when athletes go, well, you didn't play the game. Well, they hate it because there's no response to it. There's just a reality to the situation. Get over yourselves is what it is. But you guys see things from a vantage point that other people, and have an education because you have been in the mix for so long when it comes to football, that you see things that other people just don't see, that a box score can't pick up. Troy Aikman saying that, the reason why it stands out to me is because that's not just somebody who is giving an assessment that's, some sort of, a writer or reporter or covers the team. If anybody would know what receivers are supposed to be doing at a certain point, it's Troy Aikman.
Absolutely.
But you don't see that discussion being had because it's easy. The low-hanging fruit is, well, Dak Prescott sucks. You talk to Brady, it's be like, well, so-and-so threw an interception. Well, yeah, but the wide receiver could have done more to help him out there. But you don't hear that conversation as much. And so the fact that Troy Aikman did the deep dive, did a comparison to other teams in the NFL like Baltimore and Green Bay who don't have that problem, that's telling to me. And I wonder whether or not that stuff gets back to CeeDee Lamb and company.
Oh, it already got back to them. He's too big of a figure to the team, and he's too relevant in play calling to not be relayed back and it not echo through that locker room. And I wonder, has he been removed long enough where the feeling for him isn't as high as it could be? I wonder that. I wonder if if his presence is well respected and well received, and when he speaks, that's something that those guys should take as a challenge, or is it this new age of athlete, they don't know who anyone is. Like, they literally don't know who. Like, I told you the story about how I was walking down the hall. The kid's walking past my All-American picture. I'm walking past the kid. He didn't even know who I was. In State College, in the Lash building, and the Penn State building, in the All-American hallway, you're a current player. You didn't even know who I was. So I think a lot of times, guys aren't really up to speed on fandom these days like they used to be. So I wonder when a legend comes out and has something to say, and that, Jonas, I see as direct. That was a direct,
100%.
Right? That was a direct message. So when something like that happens, I wonder how young men, pros, how they respond to that these days, because I know how we would have responded. We would have responded by trying to live up to the expectation and the standard, because you wouldn't want a legend to reference you in the way that Troy Aikman just did, this receiving core.
It also feels like somebody who's been a little frustrated with the discussion about the team, because we've heard everybody get aired out for the Cowboys this year. Obviously, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, the defense has gotten destroyed. Other coaches, Mike Zimmer's arrival. We had, Zeke Elliott has talked about his involvement. Like, we haven't heard a lot of people go directly at the wide receiver, specifically one that just got paid.
Right.
And he did. Like, he's like, oh, no.
Straight for the net.
Yeah. Oh, no. Like, let's not miss. Nobody's safe here. Like, nobody's getting out of this thing alive with the bye week here, and went straight at those guys. And the fact that it came from him, I think, holds a lot more weight than maybe some of the other discussions that we have had.
You would assume. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of like the point I'm trying to make. You would assume that is going to shake them up and rattle, things up a little bit more. You would assume, and maybe they do accept that as a challenge, and maybe they do respect him enough and respect his voice enough and his opinion enough, where they try to do more, make it better. But I just know how this new athlete is, man, and it's just kind of like they probably just think he's hating. Like, he's a hater. They got Super Bowls, we don't. He's a hater.
That's wild.
And they could be right. It's not necessarily that they could be wrong about it. It's necessary. Like, they could possibly be right that Troy Aikman is hating him, and maybe there's a reason why Troy Aikman is hating. Maybe he has an agenda. Maybe he didn't like the fact that Jerry Jones is coming under so much of fire and an attack over the poor play of the team. Maybe there's a lot of reasons, a few reasons. Maybe there's just a few good reasons as to why Troy Aikman took it upon himself to drop that bomb, and for what it's worth, whether it's an agenda-driven, interview and him giving his take or not, the bottom line is that you don't want to have your legends talking about you in that manner, regardless of what it is. You got to do better. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to, is these guys are not even impressing their own community.
No.
Like, that's bad, man.
It's real bad.
That's bad.
But I will give Troy Aikman credit. At least he didn't threaten the host jobs. So that was nice. It's nice to see that
they just caught him. They rubbed him the wrong way, man.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't have his blue chew or something. I don't know,
yeah.
But they totally rubbed Jerry Jones the wrong way in that moment. And you know what? Every once in a while, they say the jackal messes with the lion lets the jackal keep messing with him and poking at him and prodding at him and biting at him. And then you keep doing it. And then every once in a while, the lion shows you why he's the lion, and he had a moment.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones had a moment.
Yeah. Well, Troy Aikman didn't. He just
Troy
Aikman
just went straight for the neck.
Yeah, like specifically, like nobody's talked about them yet. Don't worry, I got it. Listen to the ticket, and I'll in Dallas, and I'll make sure they get held accountable for their responsibility in this mess that is the Cowboys this year.